Alright, real quick, time for devlog number 2. This is going to be a weird one, but, so I've added a cutscene to the whole croc thing. I'm going to let that play out because you guys haven't seen that yet. It's like 10 seconds long, so whatever. As you can see, Croc makes sound effects now. So does every enemy in Chapter 1. All 3 stages have full sound effect, full textures, full everything. I just need cutscene after the friggin' ditch fight. And yeah, Chapter 1 is essentially done. Now this portal here, I'll explain what this icon is here in a second. So essentially what you do is you go into Stage 2 and play to a certain point. So right about here, like right after this part. So as you can see, there's this opening right here, and the pipes kind of conceal it, but it's still pretty obvious. Now normally there'd be a wall here that you, like on the edge of the screen, the gap would still be there and you could still stand here, but there'd be a wall there until you got the hood. So you have to go back into the stage after being ditched. And if you go in here, there's a secret collision that you can pick up a key there, and once you pick up that key, this secret icon will appear on the stage sled. Before I go in there, I just want to show off what Chapter 2 is going to look like. So here's Chapter 2. Chapter 2's music is playing right now, but sound effects aren't a thing. The Abstracted Troop, which is this guy, is a reskin of the standard Raider, and by reskin I mean they are literally the same object, not even a separate object in the game files. It just is programmed to be a different sprite in this chapter, because Raiders don't exist in this area. This here is the Fleshhound. It essentially is a flamethrower. That's essentially how the Fleshhound functions. It just alternates between walking towards you and flamethrower vomiting. As you can see, its death is not programmed properly. It just uses the growth as death animation. Now we can finally get into the interesting part of this video. Once you pick up that key, you unlock the friggin', layers, friggin' circles, whatever you want to call them. But whatever, essentially the Nightmare Bone World. The walls are made out of bones. We'll get into whatever the frick those things are there in a second. So this stage is very incomplete. There's no wall, there's no like decorations or anything, there's no music, and only the enemies from stages that already exist have sound effects. But if we go here, this is the friggin' hunger. They move fairly fast and do not take damage from bullets at all. To kill them, you have to stab them 3 times, and then they fall apart. Like a Wile E. Coyote cartoon thing. They look down after their rib cage has fallen out, and then they fall apart completely, like how he looks at the cliff when he runs off. Because, waste him's cartooning, that's the point. The new enemies do not have collisions yet. The Abstracted Troop is technically the only new enemy that has collisions, because it is literally the same object as the Raider. No new code has been added in terms of how it moves or anything. It's literally the same object. Like, they're not 2 separate objects in the game files. They are the same object. That's just, it's not like a new enemy or anything. I'm not like trying to pass it off as a new enemy or anything. It's just there, It's there instead of the Raiders. I could have just reused the Raiders and I chose not to, but whatever. I know this devlog's sparser than the first one, but that's because the first one was essentially an entire, quarter of the game, and what we have here is not. But whatever. I feel like that's enough progress for another devlog, at least by my standards.